What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Marcia Fuego.
Fuego here.
And we are back with another review straight out of the Phoenix Film Festival 2017. This was also part of the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival sub-branch of the main festival.
Correct.
And so special thanks to Monty and Jason and Patrick from Allied and everyone for hooking us up and allowing us to come and cover the event. We greatly appreciate it. But the one we are going to be talking about tonight, Fuego, is what?
Yeah, it is director Taneli Mustonen. I'm probably destroying your name, but it's called Lake Bodom, or otherwise known as just Bodom. And this film was all about the 1960s serial killing. Well, I guess they weren't serial killings. It was just 4 kids camping that got killed. And this is an interesting twist on it, because I thought that it was going to be taking place in the 60s, and it ended up being about modern kids obsessed with the killings, and so that was a cool twist.
Well, one of them.
One of them, at least, yes.
Yeah.
And we should say this is a foreign movie. Do you know the country of origin?
I believe it's Sweden, just same place where the murders took place.
Okay,
so.
that makes sense.
And also, one of the world's biggest metal bands took their name from this killer. It was an unsolved murder too. Children of Bodom, who I love.
So we'll do this like we've done all of our other reviews, you guys. We'll give our overall impressions, and then we'll talk about story, acting, effects, all that good stuff. But my overall impression was I didn't know anything except that I thought it was going to be based on the actual killings that it even tells you right up front in some text that the killings happened, and then from then on stories would people would tell stories of the killer returning. And it said this film is based on those stories. So it's actually, it's not about those. So that was a little, I was like, oh, okay, it's not quite what I expected, but maybe it'll still be good. And it was just kind of okay to me.
Yeah.
It didn't blow me away. It didn't do anything that I hadn't seen before. It tried to twist on us, but even that twist had been explored in another movie or two.
Not that surprising.
But overall, it was very competently made, and I thought it was shot very well. But yeah, just a little. I don't know what I was expecting, but I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Marcia.
I was in the same boat as you. Like, I enjoyed myself, but at the same time, it felt really slow, and drawn out. Like, it could have moved a little bit faster. In this story, like I feel like they might have filled a few things that they could have left out. Yes, there's still. They mentioned the serial killings in the 60s, and they used that as a plot line to move it to where they were, but it really has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Which again was a little disappointing. But it was a good movie, but. Yeah.
I might have liked it a little bit more, and not just because I enjoyed the Children of Bodom band so much, but because of the fact that I actually felt like they did tie it back together, although, not completely. It's so tough to talk about this without spoiling anything. I was impressed visually, obviously. I liked the soundtrack as well, and we can get to that at some point. It was kind of throbbing Euro synthy bits at times, which was cool. And I thought all the performances from the kids were pretty good as well. The 4 main kids were pretty on point. But yeah, in the end it was lackluster, and maybe expectations were so high. There's even a Children of Bodom song called Lake Bodom. So there you go.
I think your expectations were clearly on a different level from ours.
They were. No.
But yeah, the story itself is basically there are some college kids, or is it high? I think they're college, right? Yeah.
Debatable.
Yeah.
I thought they were more high school.
They were high school? Okay, maybe. Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah.
Because the girl was still living with the parents.
Yeah, and one of those kids probably wouldn't be a college guy. But anyway, so 2 guys, one comes running out of the school to the other guy and says, oh yeah, they agreed to it. So essentially they take 2 girls on this camping trip, on the, pre-notion that they were all going to a cabin with a big group of kids.
Big party.
And it turns out it's actually just these 2 dudes, and there's no cabin. They're just going to pitch a tent and try and...
pitch a tent is right.
Try and, I guess, lure the killer almost, because the kid was there. He was so curious. He's like, there's one of the 2 males is really obsessed with the legend and has books and pictures and notes and all these things. The other one is just kind of along for the ride.
Trying to get some tail.
Yeah, and then the 2 girls they invite along, are, you know, one of them is because one of the guys likes her, and you know, the reason the other guy's okay with it is because they look exactly like two of the victims. So they end up going on this trip, and they pitch a tent, and it's pretty quickly revealed the reason that they're there, and that, I guess that sort of kind of was intended to build the in-group tension, but it didn't really build much in-group tension. But anyway, that's essentially it. They start dying, and we don't know if it's, you know, one of them going crazy or if it's actually the serial killer from the 60s.
Yeah, because they think they see like lights on the other side of the lake at one point, and they're like, I thought it was just us out here.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're left uncertain about a few things, and then there's a big reveal, and then there's a twist, as often happens in these movies. And I mean, story-wise, I thought it was competent, but I agree with Marcia. The pacing was pretty slow in the middle of the film. Like, I like the build-up. I felt like it finished strong, actually, once their ducks were more in a row. But yeah, the middle dragged. It really did. There was a lot of exposition and just kind of feeling out dialogue-wise. And there was also a subplot with one of the girls that I didn't really care about. It's like school gossip type stuff.
Well, and honestly, the denouement of the movie hinged on that subplot.
Yeah.
So at the very least, the subplot did matter, but it didn't necessarily. Just because it matters doesn't mean it was interesting.
Yeah, or well placed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or it makes sense that it would even work the way it did. I don't know. It's hard to say without saying what it was, but it wasn't very believable to cause events to happen, in my opinion.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the acting. I thought the acting was serviceable. I don't think anyone in particular blew me away.
Not really.
You know, yeah, the kid that was so obsessed with it kind of just was annoying a little bit.
Yeah.
And too obsessed, like to the point of stupid.
The
And the other kid was, you know, supposed to look, I don't know, rugged or thuggish with his neck tattoos and all this stuff.
Blasting Jay-Z when you first see him at the beginning of the movie, and you're just like, well, this is a little weird, but yeah, you know. The girls, I thought, gave stronger performances, especially the girl who had some home trouble and some of the gossiping going on and stuff. And I felt that dynamic because that's more at the core of the film, was the relationship between these two girlfriends. And just beyond that,
Yeah, I agree.
Did you like the girls?
Yeah, the girls stole the show. I mean, they could have just done the whole movie about the two girls, and it would have been more interesting than trying to drag the whole Lake Bodom thing into it. I feel like they could have just had their own separate movie, and if they would have and just focused on the actual serial killing, I think it would have been more efficient.
Honestly, I think this
point.
I think this plot could work as like a teenage thriller slasher. If you just take out the Lake Bodom aspect of it, just have it be two guys that are trying to convince you know, girls or whatever to get out there and have it turn on them, you know. I think that's an interesting enough movie, and it doesn't involve the letdown of the kind of lackluster Lake Bodom stuff.
Yeah, the girl stuff reminded me of High Tension a little bit, actually.
A little bit,
yeah. I can see that.
What about the effects, you guys? I thought they were okay. There wasn't much to speak of. There was a little bit of gore, some blood effects.
A little bit, not a large body count.
Not a ton of, no.
Not revealing too much, but...
No, and what we saw was mostly practical, right?
Yeah.
So
It appeared to me. I mean, the stuff...
it didn't stand out.
The stuff underwater was probably, you know, a little bit enhanced, but...
I thought those shots were really cool.
They were scary. I mean, but even, you know, she was quite illuminated considering it's actually inky blackness down there.
Yeah,
but
total nighttime.
but anyway,
They had to show that ass.
That's true. There was a lot of that shot. I didn't mind that. But you know.
She was in shape, that's all I'm saying.
But yeah, you know, overall, it wasn't a bad movie.
No.
It just
we've seen a lot of bad movies and trailers here at the Horror Show, so this probably wouldn't be relegated to that section.
No, definitely not. And there might be some people that haven't seen all of the horror movies that we've seen and thus haven't seen those twists, and so they might be like, "Oh my gosh!" And this and then this happened, and they're like, you know, it might thrill a different sort of viewer than us, but. To me, there was just it was a bit of a mishmash of things that we'd seen before, done well, but just not blow me away well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was actually expecting one more twist, but it didn't happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now I'm
the
curious what it was.
yeah, I'll tell you guys later.
Okay, tell us off camera so we can keep it spoiler free.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Yeah, because Lake Bodom is not available yet.
No.
It is only making the festival rounds right now, but I'm sure some of you may have heard of it. This is just our perspective. Again, as we've had to say in the comments numerous times recently, film is entirely subjective.
Yes. Don't
So
beat us to death over
just
our
because,
opinions.
we don't like certain things, or just because this didn't blow our minds, we still liked it, but it just didn't blow us away like some people. That doesn't mean we don't know filmmaking or anything like that,
And that doesn't mean you can't like it.
Exactly.
We're not
we don't
hold it
begrudge
against you.
anyone your opinions, so
We
hopefully...
may think less of you if you don't agree with us, but you're absolutely welcome to disagree with us.
Exactly. So that's going to do it for our review of Lake Bodom. Stay tuned. Next up, I believe we're going to have our review of The Night Watchman.
Yes.
So that is a horror comedy that we just finished, and then tonight we go back to watch one that we reviewed the trailer for. Dave Made a Maze.
Yes.
The one I'm really excited for.
Yeah,
That's very good.
it's going to be really good. So yes, thanks very much for watching. That was Lake Bodom. I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Marcia Fuego.
I'd recommend just listening to Children of Bodom. I'm humming for you.
And until next time, remember, stay scared.